Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel or welcome back. I'm so glad to be here. If you're here, thank you so much. I love you so much. Welcome to my channel. My name is Romina, and today you might be asking yourself, what are we doing here? Apparently, my little kitties. Say hi to everybody. We are having a week of reading romance books that feel like Lorelai and Luke from, you said it, Gilmore Girls. I don't really limit my rewatch to autumn, but I can see that the season of autumn is the season of Gilmore Girls, and they have taken it hostage. So I'm going to be reading books with relationships that remind me of Lorelai and Luke, the most iconic, beautiful couple of the whole show, obviously. You might be asking yourself, Romina, is it really cold enough to be wearing a sweater? Well, the answer to that is, first of all, you don't know me. Sorry, wrong TV icon. Yes, it is kinda still too warm to be this type of sweater, but I am wearing it because of Lorelai Gilmore and how good she looks in red. She has many beautiful red sweaters and many beautiful red outfits, so I thought it would be really cool to wear something red for the intro of this video. I'm not going to continue wearing this warm sweater throughout the whole video because it will kill me, but just for a few moments I'm going to be wearing that. I kind of have my lip balm on, and this also reminds me of Lorelai Gilmore. And also I have a red hair clip. So the theme is going on. Hopefully the books are not going to disappoint us here because I'm full out ready. I have 4 books that I'm going to read that the summary and the whole cover of the book reminded me of Lorelai and Luke. The first one I'm going to read is the one that actually inspired this video. This book came up on my TikTok, and the moment I saw this, cover, I was like, that's Luke and Lorelai and the gazebo. And Polenka, the dog. And so I'm going to start with that one. The book is called If It Makes You Happy by Olivia. And I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm going to read you the summary and then get to reading them and the whole vlog, right? Let's begin the summary. My new next door neighbor seems to have everything figured out. Small town golden boy? Check. Single dad extraordinaire? Check. Hot baker forearms? I didn't notice them, I swear. Okay, that's a good start. I, on the other hand, don't at all have anything figured out. Trust me, I didn't think taking over my mom's dream bed and breakfast in Cooper Run, Vermont was going to be easy. It should be a good place to heal after my divorce, but apparently my scones belong in the garbage with my small talk skills, as pointed out by none other than Cliff. Cliff is inescapable. He knows exactly what people need, always. His charm, the way he wears flannel, and even his pastries make not wanting to be friends with Cliff and his daughter pretty hard. So his Luke Danes. Flannels, baking, damn, he is Luke Danes. Friends? I can make friends, that's safe. Except I'm leaving in 3 months to pass the inn off to my little sister and get the promotion in Seattle I've been working towards. So ask me why I'm thinking about kissing my hot neighbor. I am so ready. Let's get to reading this book and starting this vlog. I am in complete Gilmore Girls vibes, so I'm going to start my rewatch tonight because I've seen it 6 times. And reading this book, I'm going to update you all the way through. I'm sure I'm going to love this vlog and this experience with you. Thank you for being here. Let's go. Guys, 4% in, and I'm already in love with this book. I started it, and this is the first chapter. We had a prologue. I'm already in love. This is the exact vibe that I was looking for. This description was what made me understand that I'm going to love this book. Display cases have somehow remained untouched, but I give her another week until those are gone too. Carol swivels her eyes towards the bakery's floor to ceiling windows. Winston, our resident painter, is perched on a small stool on the sidewalk, creating the final strokes on our seasonal window art. It's a mural of autumn leaves, scarecrows, pumpkins, and apples. I told him to add a pie, but he said he couldn't draw pies. So plain apples it is. Gilmore Girl vibes. This is Gilmore Girl vibes, okay? This is this small town. Everybody helps each other. He's kind of grumpy, but kind of cute and nice. And he's a baker, serves people and I'm so excited to read this book. Okay, I love it. I love it. I'm loving it. Yes, that's a win. That's me starting a vlog and liking a book. Thank God. The last vlogs did not go this well. So thankfully, this is going well. I love it when characters don't just have a job for the sake of having a job in a book and they actually love that job. It's a part of their personalities. He's a baker, as I said, and he looks at people like pastries. He sees a person and he just thinks, what would they be if they were a pastry? And I think that's really cute. That's realistic. People don't have jobs just on the sidelines of their lives. Their jobs are a big part of them, and it shapes the way they think and see things. So I think it's really great that that realistic thing is in here. Oh my god, tell me this is not Gilmore Girls. Tell me this town is not Stars Hollow. Cooper Run Square is decorated for the Harvest Festival. Haystacks line the walkways, scarecrows stand erect beside the white gazebo, and crowds of pumpkins form a small patch in the corner of the park. I need to decide what I'll bring to my booth this year. Last year, Burke's Bakery sold out of our apple crumb cakes. This is Stars Hollow. And this is the kind of town I want to live in. We have no such a thing in my country. None. We don't have a small town. Our countryside is very different. So basically, this type of thing doesn't exist in my world. This is like going to a fantasy world and living there. There is no difference between this town and, Terracin. For me, they're both fictional and non existent. So I just love reading about them because I can't live them, but I can read about them, I guess. Cut. We move to cross the street, but down the sidewalk, striding towards the bakery, are my two daughters. He's a girl dad! He has two daughters! That's adorable! I love single dads with daughters. I don't think he would have daughters, but he is a dad. Oh my god. And he has two! That's cute! I want to have two I want to meet these two daughters. That's crazy. I love that. I was so excited to read that. I just wanted you to know that he is a girl dad and two girls and he loves them. That's great. That's adorable. His banters with his daughter are killing me. She's a teenager. She's like 16. And it's hard having a 16-year-old daughter as a single parent, especially as a single dad. But he just handles it with such a humor while being serious that, even the teenage daughter can't help but love him for it. Dad, I'll send you to your room, Em. We're not even at home, she says, gesturing to the sidewalk. I'll launch you there. That makes her pause. She bites her bottom lip to hold in a laugh. In a cannon? In a cannon, I confirm with a grin. She folds her arm over her chest. You're not the boss of me. Carol snorts. That makes one of us. Carol is his sister who works at the bakery with him. Whatever, Carol. Emily shoots to her. I turn back to Emily. I definitely am the boss of you until you're 18. And last time you blew out candles, I recall you turning 16. And James, Josh, isn't even in school anymore. What is he, 30? He graduated in May, Emily groans. He's only 17. If you let him come over to do what? Play Monopoly? He's probably great with money. Because he's saving for retirement, right? Emily's head falls back as she lets out an over-the-top groan. He's not that old. I'm going to another break, Carol says, digging into her front pocket for her pack. Can I bum one? Emily calls to her. I tip my head to the side. Did DARE teach you nothing? Emily shrugs. It made smoking sound cool, actually. I can't hold back my grin as I shake my head. You're such a little snot. And it's not cool. How cool can it be if Carol does it? I'm standing right here, Carol says. Your aunt is an adult, I continue. She's allowed to make terrible, life-ruining decisions. When can I make terrible decisions? Emily asks. When you're 50. Oh, wow. Maybe by then I'll be old enough to date Josh too, Emily says sarcastically. I smirk. He'll be dead by then, the old geezer. Emily reluctantly smiles as she pulls her headphones back over her head. If my dad was like this when I was young, right now I would be way less depressed. Sorry, Dad. I love my dad. I do, but this was not our dynamic. And I love her dad. Cliff is such a great dad and such a great dude. He's great. He's Luke with, April. A little bit funnier because Luke was a little bit grumpy, but he's so cute. I'll update you later. Update. I read almost 100 pages and still loving this book. Still enjoying it very much. Still loving the whole Gilmore Girls vibes. It's different. I was expecting a Lorelai and Luke relationship. That's the reason we started this vlog. It's kinda flipped. The girl, what was her name? Oh my god. Shelley. Her name is Michelle. They call her Shelley most of the times. Shelley is grumpy and Cliff is the sunshine. So it's reverse grumpy and sunshine, but it's still great. Their dynamics are so funny. And there's a dog here named Rocket, and he has a very also moody, grumpy personality. He doesn't really like Michelle. He's always judging her, and it's so funny the way that Michelle just translates every look of him as annoyance. It's really funny. And this dog loves Brittany, the little girl of Cliff, next door neighbors. And these two are adorable together. The little girl and the little dog. Old dog. I don't know how old this dog is. He's tiny. So that's cute. What else is happening? So she's trying to run this inn. Her mother passed away. I didn't even tell you what this book was about. Her mother passes away. Her parents had this inn in a very small town. They moved there and started this bed and breakfast, basically. And her mother passes away at the beginning of this book. And she left this inn to her younger daughter, so her sister Sarah, but Sarah is at university right now, and it's a few months until she graduates and can actually come and run this inn. So Michelle, being a very great sister, says, okay, I'm a very successful woman. I'm going to go there and run this inn until you're ready to come take it with Dad. So she moves there. But the problem is that, well, people come to this tiny bed and breakfast for the feel of, small town, charming, talking to people and stuff. And Michelle is very stern and not very a talkative person. And she starts getting, not great reviews, while the whole town is trying to help her, and she doesn't know how to take help. And especially Cliff, her next door neighbor, the father of these children, knew her mother and promised to help her daughter keep this in going. But at the beginning, Michelle really doesn't want to take this help because she doesn't know how to. And as this keeps going, she doesn't want to fail at the thing that her mother loved so much. So she actually reaches out to Cliff and asks him for hope of how to talk to these guests and how to be more hospitable and, make them enjoy it very much. So they're working on that. He's helping her, engage in more social activities of this town and bake. He's teaching her to bake more because she's awful at that, and he's a baker. And what is one of the cutest things is that one of the things that he loves in the world is knowing what someone's favorite pastry is. He describes it as when a pastry is right for somebody, when they pick it up, they just cannot put it down. And every day he takes a different pastry to her, and she doesn't know this. She just thinks that he's doing this weird baker thing and bringing her pastries. She doesn't really know that he spends time thinking about what can be that perfect pastry for this person. He keeps taking different, more complex stuff to her, and she takes a bite, says it's amazing, and put it down. And every single time he gets so disappointed, and she doesn't get it. She's like, it's good. Why are you so disappointed? But he doesn't really tell her. He wants to have that moment organically. That's just very creative of this author. It's so beautiful. It's so tender and shows what a caring person he is. What else is going on is as they're doing this, so he is a single dad. Sister helps them sometimes, but it's very hard. So Michelle, takes care of Brittany some days after school. She goes and takes him from the bus stop, and she spends her time at this inn with Rocket, which is really cute that she's helping out. And Brittany's such a adorable little girl that everybody falls in love with. I just love his girls. The other one, Emily, is older and is a teenager, so less adorable than Emily, but she's such a good girl still. Even though she's a 16-year-old teenager, she's still responsible. Yes, she has a boyfriend that her father is not really fond of, but she's such a good girl, and I keep flipping the pages because I am enjoying it so much. I really did not know that I needed this type of cozy, atmospheric, autumnal romance books, but I did, and I'm enjoying it so much. I'm so glad I started doing this. Right time. This is the exact right time for me to be reading this book, and I am loving it. I will update you later on. Just know that I'm enjoying it so much. So far, 5 stars. Perfect. Guys, I'm really enjoying their relationship. I love the fact that he is making her become more herself. I'm just flying through this book. Her daughters have such beautiful bond with her and trust her. And that's so nice. Rocket, the dog, is my favorite part of this whole book. His personality is a grumpy old man that is stuck in the body of a dog and has to, handle these young people making mistakes all over him. And he's so over it, but he loves them also. And it's so cute. There is a scene that Brittany, the young girl, falls down because she's holding his his leash, and he runs because he gets spooked, and she falls down and gets stitches. And she's, scared of the dog, and she loves him all still, but she's a little bit terrified to go near him, so she doesn't. And Michelle describes him as sad and hopeful that one day she will come. And every time that the gate opens and it's not her, he gets so sad. And it's the sweetest thing. I just want to go and hug him. Enough about the dog. Let's talk about their relationship. Their relationship is really great. Cliff is still trying to figure out her favorite pastry, and he gives her the space to grow into the person that she wants to be. And even though he sees the, not very healthy part of her and the parts that she put expectations on her and her life, and she has this picture of perfect life, and she's trying to just follow that, even though it's not fulfilling her that much, he sees it. But he doesn't push her and tell her, no, your dreams are wrong. You should change them because they're not making you happy. And I love that. She's a workaholic and he loves her, not despite that, but because of that. What's going on, baby? My cat. Yeah, and that's something that I really love. And I also love the fact that they didn't write this as, okay, this teenager has a problem with her and they have to figure this out. This girl, Emily, loves Michelle and trusts Michelle and confides in Michelle. That's something that I love. Oh god, don't fall down. Holy shit. Why are you up there? He's not going to fall down. He went back there. It's fine. I hope he just doesn't jump on my head. What was I talking about? Yes, Emily trusts Michelle more than she even trusts her own mother. Oh, and I said her own mother. Their mother, so Cliff's ex-wife, is not really a good mom. She's not a bad, abusive kind of mom, but she's not the present type of mother. She had a lot of dreams that she had to put on hold when she had Emily, which I understand. When you're very young and something like that happens, you get pregnant, something happens to you that you can't chase your dreams like every other person your age can. I have been through that, but putting that on your child is bad parenting. That child should never know that they are the reason you didn't get to fulfill your dreams, which is something we had in Gilmore Girls, even though Lorelai and Emily, even in Gilmore Girls, were always assuring Rory that the disappointment that they're talking about is not Rory's existence, but the fact that Lorelai was never able to become the person they had in their minds. Rory still feels that. She still has that weight on her shoulders that if I did not exist, my mom would have had a better life, a better family life, didn't have to work so much, didn't have to stress out this much. Okay, you should never put that on the child. It's your responsibility. It's your burden to bear, and the child should never feel like that. And Cliff, their father, is that type of parent that no matter what, her daughters will never think that his life got changed because of them. They always feel loved, and he makes them feel like they are the best part of his life, which they are, in my opinion. But their mom is not like that. And the little girl, Brittany, doesn't really feel that because she came along years after their first child. And it's Emily, the eldest, who feels this pressure of, I ruined my parents' lives, I ruined my mom's life, and she just walked out when she could. On the other hand, she is really trying to be a good mother without being there. She loves these kids. They're her kids and she loves them. She just can't really figure out how to put them first, let's say. But she is trying to be a good mom. And what I love about this relationship and dynamic is that Cliff never, 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 never says anything bad about their mom to her, which is a very important part of divorce that a lot of people don't really get. They get upset, they get angry and frustrated, sometimes for their child, and they complain to the child, which is really harmful. I was in this position and I was devastated. And it was never addressed in my family because we don't really talk about this stuff. But seeing that some people can do it right in this book gives me hope that not every child goes through what I did. And I hope that every family or every couple that is going to go through a divorce or breakup while having children always has the mental health of that child their priority and doesn't harm them accidentally. That's it. I love the fact that this relationship and these children are not being used as a plot line of this story, and they're not being exploited. They're not being exploited for the drama of it all. It's just great. I love their relationship. I do love the relationship between Michelle and Cliff that I just said because they support each other so beautifully. But the point that I wanted to make was I am enjoying that so much more than even their romance. And I respect this author for writing it like that. Guys, I finished the book. I'm going to give it 5 stars. I'm going to talk about the whole story later. Let me just read you something that's... You remember that scene between Luke and Lorelai when Luke has moved out of the town to go live with Nicole? Not really moved, but he tells her that he has moved, and on the porch when he comes to shovel the snow, they have a fine argument. Let me read you this argument. Cliff pinches the bridge of his nose and closes his eyes. God, stop thinking for half a second, Michelle. I can never tell. You don't need to. I don't owe you or anyone anything. His eyes snap to mine and he's speechless for a moment. Fine. Fine, I answer. But I don't move. I don't want to be done. I'm far from it. Well, then where do we go from here? I ask. What do you want to happen now? He asks me. No, stop being so accommodating. Stop asking me what I mind. You're so... What am I? You're always... Do you even... This is so complicated. It's one of the best arguments. I love it when both sides are just in love and angry at each other because the other one doesn't want to say it. They're like, fine, then we shouldn't do this. Okay then. You love each other. Everybody in this town, including his children, know that they love each other. They're just like, no, we don't. Should we not? Is it a temporary thing? Are we just attracted to each other? You love each other. Get over it. They're so cute. So what happens is, not to spoil it, so as we know from the beginning of this book, she's supposed to be there for a very short amount of time until her sister is ready to come back. So they are in a very, very serious relationship by the time that this happened. And what is very sweet about this man is like everybody in this town and in her family are like, okay, you love this man and you love this town. You shouldn't leave. Okay, and which is fair. If I was there, I would probably be the one that was like, are you stupid? He loves you, you love him, where the fuck are you going? Sorry for swearing. But, and everyone is telling her that, but this man is so supportive and so sweet that never once tells her, hey, don't go. He's like, go chase your dreams, we'll figure it out. We are fine, you need to go do you. Girls, we need a man like this. Or a woman, I'm bisexual. But this is the kind of partner that every person needs, the supportive kind of partner. And there's a scene when he's driving and he's crying, and Rocket just sits on his lap and licks his tears. Rocket is the sweetest. Somebody's at our door, and my cat is looking at the door really weirdly. And he's freaking me out. What are those sounds? Let's hope that I don't get murdered. That's what I said. The book ended very nicely. I'm not going to tell you how. You know, it's a happily ever after because romance, but they have a very beautiful, understanding relationship. If I want to give the book a rating, I'm going to give it 5 stars. As I said, I love the characters. There was 1 or 2 spicy scenes in it. Not a big amount of spice, which is a tiny amount of spice, but I think we could have skipped that. I know some people need the spice to be in their books. I'm not one of those people. They had such sweet and innocent and, understanding kind of relationship that I did not need to see it. It could have been just closed doors, but it was there and it was fine. It wasn't badly written or very detailed or whatever. It was just a normal scene, so the spice level is not high at all. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it 1 chili pepper thingy. I'm going to, at the end of each book, give 2 more ratings. First, Gilmore Girl vibes, and second, Luke and Lorelai vibes, because of this vlog. So the Gilmore Girl vibes are 5 out of 5. We had the whole small town, tight-knit community, nosy neighbors, everything. We had all of that, so that's a 5 out of 5. And for the Luke and Lorelai vibes, I'm giving it 4. 4. They had the whole vibe of, grumpy sunshine. They love each other, friends to lovers, support each other, and the other one's child or children. But what was different was that the grumpy sunshine was reversed. So she was the grumpy, he was the sunshine, and that's why I'm going to give it 4 and not 5. That's it. That's all the ratings. Oh my god, don't bite me. Stop biting me. You're always biting me. Stop doing that. Yeah, and that's that for this book. I'm going to move on to the next book, which is, I found this book because of its cover. The cover looks like, there are 2 covers, okay? I'm going to put both of them on screen. The first one has a gazebo, and that gazebo is Stars Hollow's gazebo. You can't tell me otherwise. And the other one, again, looks exactly like Luke and Lorelai or Rory and Jess. I can't really decide. It could be both of them. I saw that it was YA. I wasn't expecting it to be young adults. I don't really read or like young adult romance at all. It feels too childish for me, and I can't really take it seriously because they're 17, 18. That's not gonna be the relationship that lasts their entire life, and it's completely okay to have relationships that don't last your entire life, obviously. But when I'm reading romance, in my brain it's usually that, okay, they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. And with YA romance, I can't really do that. And it kind of bothers me. And they're teenagers, so they have teenage mistakes, which is again okay, but not really my thing, which is funny because if you look at it, I'm way closer to their age than the adult people in romance. And look at the cat in the background. It has a cat. I'm a cat person. I'm a total cat person. So that's a bonus. We'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Okay, I'm over 6% into this book. I did not come and update you because I didn't want to break my concentration. I was really deeply into it and I was trying to give it a chance because I was a little bit biased of the genre. So I kept going, but I did take a lot of notes to remember what I want to tell you. And I'm going to do that right now. Let's start with the dedication. The dedication was great. To all my PSL drinking, sweater wearing, apple picking, Gilmore Girls watching, pumpkin patch going, candy corn eating, fall loving readers. This one's for you. May we all find our Coopers. Cooper is the boy. We started the book strong. The dedication was really great and it mentioned Gilmore Girls, so that's a point in its favor. And then we got along, and in the first few pages, you start the book with Alice and her father, and you realize that she's desperately trying to gain affection and respect from her father, and she has a basically absent father who only pays attention to her when she's doing the things that he wants. So studying and trying to get into Columbia, a college about journaling, which right now talking about it, Rory Gilmore coded. Yeah, that's very Rory Gilmore coded. And you also get to see that, okay, this is not her passion. This is just what she believes that she loves because it makes her feel important to her father. And that's what she wants most in the world, for her father to pay attention to her and love her and connect with her. So you start the book there, and soon you realize that, okay, her parents' marriage is falling apart, and now she has to move into this small town, and her mother is taking her with her, which is something that she really hardly disagrees with because, again, she loves her father and wants his respect and attention. But she's 17 and she has to move with her mother to this small town that her aunt lives in. She had been there when she was younger, but not for a lot of years. She moves there, and the first day she wants a pumpkin spice latte, because of course she does. And they go to this coffee shop called the Caffeinated Cat, and it has a lot of cats in it, so that I love because I'm a cat person. The barista there is Cooper, which is our love interest, and immediately Cooper is so cold towards her, even though they had a very nice summer with each other years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, and they kissed at the end of that summer. But he acts like he doesn't even know her, and they barely met and stuff. So that's the whole beginning of this book. You get to know what happened between them there, why is he sad, mad later on. What I want to tell you about is when they're on their way on foot, obviously, to this cafe, she and her cousin Sloane have this conversation. She asks, "A pumpkin prom?" And her cousin answers, "It's a costume party with lots of dancing." All of it leads up to the big festival the first weekend of November to conclude the season. It's pretty much a huge all-day party. In New York, you have the Mercy's Thanksgiving Day Pride. Here, we have the Bramble Falls Parade around the square, which sounds a lot like Stars Hollow and its festival. So it's the beginning of fall when she moves to this town, and apparently it's a tourism-oriented town. So they have a lot of festivals and activities related to fall so that tourists come and visit and have a weekend there and go back. And Alice's aunt Naomi is the one in charge, so she has to help with a lot of these festivals. And what she loves most is art, and being in this small town and trying to help with these fun little festivals make her artistic side come up way more, which is very lovely. At this point, I realized that okay, she's extremely young. Okay, she's 17. She's a very studious girl. She always studies and gets A's and stuff. So I was like, oh, so this is not Lorelai and Luke. This is Rory and Jess. And I was wrong. She's Rory, he's Jess. The only difference is that in Gilmore Girls, Rory lives in the town and Jess comes to the town from the city, from New York, actually. But in this book, Cooper lives in this town, Bramble Falls or whatever, and Ellis moves into this town from New York. That's the slight difference. So now I had to change my perspective from wanting a Luke and Lorelai story to Rory and Jess. Okay? And I was like, okay, that's fine. I love them too. Let's go. I got further and then I realized that Cooper is not a dark, broody boy, basically, as I thought, because at the beginning of this book, he's giving her the cold shoulder. He's not being very talkative. He barely looks at her. That's where I got the Jess vibes. But Cooper is a very nice boy who was hurt by her in some ways. But he's very beloved in this town. Everybody depends on him. He helps with these festivals. He goes everywhere and tries to help their family while working at the Caffeinated Cat cafe. He has shifts there and then he goes and helps in these festivals. What was very cute is that she's basically a caffeine addicted girl, which of course it is. It's Gilmore Girls inspired. And what she loves most is a pumpkin spice latte. And they don't have that. They have another drink with pumpkins. It's called something else. And she always orders that. So when he goes to a place that he knows that she's at, he takes a coffee for her. He brings coffee for her. That's my love language. If you love me and want to tell me that you love me, give me a cup of coffee. Just give me a cup of coffee without me asking you, and I will love you until I die. Thank you very much. Another thing that is very lovely between them is, as I told you, she's under a lot of pressure from her dad to become a journalist and work at his firm because he's a very well-known journalist. And she's trying very hard to be that type of girl for him. And another thing that he does that is very messed up is that she's very artistic. She loves arts and just she's an artist. It's in her blood. Like her mother. Her mother is also an artist who loves painting and stuff, but Ellis has never seen her paint in their home. But now that they're in this town, she has more free time. She is more free to express herself through her art. And Ellis is also an artist. And now that she's in this town, away from her controlling father, she's creating art way more. She designs dresses in her sketchbook and makes dresses and stuff. She's having more inspiration. She's having friends, which she couldn't previously because of her father. And he supports her art so beautifully and so easily. It's like he knows that she loves this, but she can't really put her energy in it because of her father. So what he does is point so indirectly to it so that she doesn't get defensive, but she's still more inspired to do it. So this conversation is between them. He sees a scratch. He sees a sketch of the dress that she's designing. It's perfect. Thank you, I say, blushing. You should make it. I raise my eyebrows. You think? I mean, there's no real reason to. Where would I even wear something like that? I don't know, but even if you just wear it around Naomi's house, it'd be worth it. That dress should exist, Alice. That's so beautiful that he knows what she's good at and he knows that she's not confident enough in her art and she's happiest while paying attention to art and stuff and just stressed while studying. So he helps her. He helps her get to that confidence and knowledge of, oh my God, I am an artist. It is what I thrive in, and I don't have to try so hard to study because of my dad, and I should follow my own dreams. That's where I'm at. I still think that they're too young when they talk about the past that they had. They talk about how serious it was between them and how serious it was for him and how deeply he felt. I'm like, you were 14. That's too young. I'm sorry. I get the point of YA romances. I get that when you're a 17-year-old, you think that the feeling you had at 14 is so big and so important, and you cannot ever have something as pure as that. I get that, and I'm not shaming anybody for that, okay? I was the girl who had her first relationship at 15, and I thought she was the love of my life, and I was never ever going to move on from her, and I was never going to find somebody who understood me as much as she did. I get it. That's for that age. That's your first relationship. You're very young and emotional and hormonal. I get that. I don't enjoy it in a book. Okay, I see it. I don't know, maybe I'm not in the age range anymore. And I am saying that as these characters are like, what, 4 years younger than me? But I feel like a very different person from when I was 16, 17. And now I can see that, okay, that was the time and those relationships were basically practice. And I cannot see when they talk so seriously about, oh, that relationship ruined me and you left me. And I'm like, you were 14. You were barely teenagers. Come on. That's too young. So I'm trying to turn that voice in my head off and not put too much focus on, okay, they're 17. That's too young to talk like this with each other. I wish she had aged them up. I wish they were like, I don't know, 24, and the past that they're talking about is when they were 21, and or even when they were 19 and going to college. That's just my opinion. I just don't enjoy YA romances, but that's fine. That's me. I'm going to update you when I finish it. I don't have very much to go through anymore. I'll update you when I'm done. Okay, I'm done with the book. Ow. 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 Don't bite me. Do not bite me. Why are you biting me? Ooh. Oh. You bite me? You bit me. I love you. I love you. Sorry about my cat. I'm done with this book. I'm giving it a 3. Let's talk about it. So, where did I leave you? I don't know. I think where I left you was she was getting more attached to this town and she was participating in more activities and it made her happy. We got to see her be happy, which was something that we were missing from the beginning of the book. She was truly happy. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you. Her father, I hated her father, okay? He is, there are some fathers like Christopher in Gilmore Girls who are absent, completely gone. He's not doing much harm. He's just not there, which is wrong, but at least, what are you doing? He had the decency to just leave if he can't be a good dad. But then we have her father. What's wrong with Alice's father? He's both an absent parent and an overbearing parent at the same time. So he never pays attention to her. He doesn't call. He doesn't ask, "How are you doing?" He doesn't care about her mental state or anything. He's just not there until it comes to her education and career. Then he's there too much. He comments too much, puts too much pressure on her, and just is too much. So she's in this town and trying to, your child is telling you that this is very hard for me. It's a big change. I'm in a very different place now, and I'm trying so hard to deal with it and make the most out of it. You know that she told you that. You didn't ask, but she told you that. Well, first of all, he doesn't call her at all in this month that she's there. Maybe once or twice they have a 2-minute conversation, and that's it. But then suddenly he calls her and tells her that, okay, this interview is tomorrow. You should come to the city, be ready for it, and have this interview that can make or break your entire future that I set up for you at Columbia. And what she does is, well, she's a very neglected girl who doesn't understand that this type of love is not healthy, and she shouldn't try this hard to earn her dad's love. Okay, a parent's love should not be earned, it should be unconditional. So she doesn't get that, and she drops everything to just go to this meeting in the city. And she really doesn't want to, because there's a very important dance at the same time, and she was so excited for it, and she promised other people that she would be there. But the approval of her father is so important for her that she just drops everything and accepts to be miserable and hurt other people just so she can gain that respect. And it is so heartbreaking for me, because I am Ellis. Okay, I'm trying to be better at it. I'm in therapy. I'm trying so hard to not be that girl anymore, but I kind of am. And I've been that girl when I was her age. Okay, I was the girl who couldn't go out with her friends just because she wanted the approval of her parents. I was the girl who lost the most amazing opportunity of her life because she wanted the respect and love of a parent. And the damage that it did, well, first of all, to my psyche, is still there, and I'm trying so hard to fix that, but I haven't been able to yet. But the damage it did to my future is irreversible. I lost an opportunity that people dream of for their entire lives, and I had it. I got it. It was at the palm of my hand, and I had to reject it because of that. So I get that. I get that so bad, wanting that one person, that one parent to love you and respect you and look at you like you're worth it so much that you just ruin yourself and your life and everybody around you for it. So it's very hard for me to read these parts, and I am getting so mad at Alice, so frustrated. And then when, I close the book, I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at Alice. I get where Alice is. I'm mad at myself. And so I don't want to be too harsh towards her. I get it. And my anger is because I know what she's doing. And I know that it's because of neglect. And I wish I could shake her and tell her, be you, do you, this is your life. Don't lose your opportunities because of a dad that will never love you the way you want it, okay? So it's very sad for me, and at least I love the fact that Cooper loves her enough to tell her that. Okay, sometimes because you love somebody, you need to make them understand some hard truth. And this is a very hard truth for Alice, and she doesn't want to understand because it's too hard for her to, deal with the fact that my dad is never really going to love me. And if I want him to, I have to always put myself secondary and him first. And Cooper gets mad. Obviously he does, and he has every right to, and tells her that. So I loved the fact that he wasn't the type of person and that sees it, because I had this type of people in my life who saw it and because of respect or love or not knowing what to do, didn't say anything and just stepped back, gave me the chance to do that thing, even though that thing was ruining my life. So I love the fact that Cooper doesn't just step aside and be like, okay, you do you. He's like, no, no, no. You are hurting other people because of him. More importantly, you're hurting yourself because of him. And at some point in your life, you have to make the decision to put yourself first. And I think Alice really, really needed that. And even though at that moment, she doesn't really accept that and take that in, and she still does the thing that her father wants her to, but that builds up to a moment that she sees the truth of, you don't love me. You just want me to be your puppet and do what you want. And I think the reason that she was able to get to that point is, first of all, because of herself. But that hint that Cooper gave her, that shaking, that reminder that, okay, look at yourself. Look what you're doing and why. I was worried he was going to fall. It was really important in that journey. So I love that so much, and I wanted to mention that because I think it's a very important thing. And then there came a moment. There's a moment at the end of the book, like not the end, but you're getting closer to the end. I'm laughing because it's stupid. When I was talking to you before, I was telling you that, okay, Cooper is not like Jess, and everybody in this town loves him. And what is my cat doing up there? And he just participates in every activity, and it didn't click in my brain that he's not Jess, he's Dean. And then we got to a part that they were talking, and I read the dialogue between them. I was like, oh no, she is Rory and he's Dean. If you're a Dean fan, more power to you, I guess, but he's not. Rory and Dean are not my favorite couple at all. Out of all of Rory's boyfriends, Dean has always been my least favorite one. I'm Logan, Jess, Dean. I was like, oh no, he's Dean. Which, I mean, Dean had good qualities, and at least he has all the best parts of Dean and doesn't have the worst parts of him at all. He's a very great boyfriend, but that was a hard realization. And I wish I didn't realize it even at the end. I'm going to read you the conversation that led me to understand that. They're talking about his ex. The following week, she wanted to get back together. She said breaking up with me was a lapse in judgment, but I told her no. Why? She obviously really likes you. Maybe it really was just a lapse in judgment. The gravity of his gaze nearly paralyzed me. Because she wasn't you, he says. Because I felt nothing when she broke up with me. Because I figured if she couldn't destroy me the way you did, what was the point? My stomach flips and my heart squeezes and my insides melt. Oh. Tell me this is not Dean talking about Lindsay. Which I hate. I hate that comparison. That's the parts of Dean that I hated the most, the cheating parts, but yeah, guys, he's Dean. He's the way better version of Dean, but he's a Dean. He's a sweet, supportive, all the people in town loves him boy who is hot. Anyways, that was that. And there was also a part before I was done. I'm going to read this to you again and be done with this book. That it reminded me of how young they are and how much I don't like the fact that this is YA. He turns his head. I probably should have, but I didn't. I thought it meant we were like meant to be or something. Like I'd somehow met the love of my life in middle school. Love, huh? I whisper. He grins. I was 14 with a lot of feelings. And now? His smile flatters. He stares at me a moment. Now I'm almost 18 with a lot of feelings. No disrespect to all the loves that were there when people were 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Too young. I'm sorry, too young for me to take seriously. You thought you met the love of your life when you were 14? No, you didn't. You were just a boy who was very young and hormonal and his first crush. Again, I am not much older than these characters. He's almost 18, so we could have been in the same school with each other. That's how close we are together. But still, 14 is too young. Okay, she should have written this story in another way. If she wanted them to have a past that hurt them, or him at least, they should have been now 20 something and that past being 17, 16. That would have been fine. Okay, if they first met each other when they were a teenager and now they were adults, I got that. But if she's writing them as 18 now, they should not have a past of when they were 14. It's fine if they do, it's not illegal or immoral or something, that's fine. It's just that I cannot see that as a very valid past between them. I'm going to give it 3 stars because, first of all, I did not like the fact that it was YA. So it wasn't the age range for me. If you like that, you might like this one. That's the first part. The second part is the love story was not really deep enough for me to give more than 3. It was a very basic, surface level 18-year-olds falling in love, or at least having crushes on each other. So I did not see that, and I'm going to give it 3. And the Gilmore Girls rating is going to be a 5 because it had everything: festivals, small town, studious girl, nosy neighbors, whispers in the town square. So it had everything. The Gilmore Girl vibes are 5. The caffeine addiction, I forgot that. But the Lorelai and Luke vibes gets a 0. Because again, this one had nothing to do with them. It was more Rory and Dean. So that gets a 0, which is fine. It's not the book's fault. It's just for the sake of this video. And now for the last book, I'm going to start Hannah Bonam-Young's new book. I love her. I've only read 1 book by her, but I know that her romances are lovely and I love her writing. And I think I'm going to read all of her books when I have the time. This one that came out this year fits this video perfectly because it's a small town and the cover, I'm going to put it on screen, is again Luke and Lorelai coded. She is Lorelai, okay, at least in this picture. Even the dress matches Lorelai. He has a little bit more tattoos than Luke had, but it's Luke tatted up, I guess. So I'm going to start that one. It's called People Watching. I didn't say the name. It's called People Watching, and let's see. It was published 9th of September. So let's see what the description says. Prudence Welsh has found solace in her introverted life in Baysville, a charming tourist town in northern Ontario. Despite once dreaming of a life beyond its borders, she now finds contentment in her working at her father's gas station, writing poetry, and caring for her mother, who was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's shortly after Prue's 19th birthday. But as her mother's condition worsens and her father's concerns about her future intensify, Prue feels her world slipping further out of control. Enter Milo Kablukov, An enigmatic wanderer whose beat up van covered with ill advised bumper stickers rolls into town just when Prue needs a change. It's all too easy to let go with him, and Prue can't help but strike up an unlikely friendship with Milo, which leads to a wild and sexy agreement between them. Ooh, sexy agreement, you say? Milo, a man of many adventures and countless stories, is not one to settle down. Of course, he is not. However, his brother's urgent need for hope has brought him to Baysville, and now the intriguing Prue has given him more reasons to stay. Especially once they start spending more time together, their chemistry intensifying, and casual sex lessons start at Prue's request. Sex lessons? Really? But as their temporary arrangement blossoms into something deeper, Prue and Milo discover that getting out of their comfort zones is one thing. Taking that leap together is something else entirely. Okay then. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I read so much last night. I'm already 26% into this book. I love Hannah Bonam-Young writing. Hi, baby. And it makes me fly through the book so fast. Her writing is beautiful. She writes character in a very real way. You feel like they're real people that if you go outside right now, you can meet. So I love that also. I did take notes about what I wanted to tell you because it was night and I was laying in bed and I didn't want to pause the audiobook to come and update you, so I took notes. Notes are my new friends. Okay, first of all, I made a note to read you the dedication because it was really beautiful. For all of you who have spent your time waiting, watching, and hoping, your time will come. All will be well. I kind of needed to hear that. You know, it was a very beautiful and at the right time kind of dedication. So what I need you to understand is that this book is going to be really hard for me. Prue is me. Prue is the girl and she reminds me so much of me, the way she talks, the way she thinks, the way she's waiting for love but not really waiting for it, the way that she feels responsible for her family, for her parents and stuff. She's just me. She's so me, and unfortunately the boy that we have here, the love interest, Milo, is my ex. He reminds me so much since the moment I met him. So the first time his chapter opened, I was like, oh my god, that's my ex. And I don't really want to get into that relationship. I just want to tell you that I'm not really ready yet, or maybe ever, to read stories that remind me of that relationship. And I understand that that's a problem with me. Every time that I read a story that reminds me of some point of that relationship, I get triggered so hard that I go back and go through all of the things that happened to me again. And that was one of the darkest times of my life. So this book is going to be really hard for me because of that. I'm still rooting for them and I'm still hopeful that I'm going to love this book. I'm just saying that I'm going to be a little bit more emotional. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm not really emotionally objective towards this story. So Milo, our male main character, is a very hot man, Russian man. He's bisexual, which bisexual rep, glad to see it. He's very sexy, very experienced, and he sees himself as a slut. And it's not like, an exaggeration. He basically, that's it. He uses intimacy and sex as a coping mechanism. He doesn't get closer to people emotionally, he just hooks up with them. And the only moments that he feels good is in bed having sex. So he has a lot of experience with sex, but he doesn't have that much experience or at all experience of being in love and having a deep emotional relationship. He just hooks up with people. Here's the first quote that actually pointed that out. This is new territory for Nadia and me. Nadia is his sister. I've got no problem confessing my sentiments, sins, and secrets to whomever is spending the night in my bed, but my family did not do feelings growing up, let alone express them to one another. So they had a very rough childhood. You get that from the first pages, that their home was not really a safe space. So all three of them, they're three siblings. Milo, Nick is the eldest, and Nadia the youngest. They learned to bury their feelings and not feel them to protect themselves as a defense mechanism. And now that they have grown up, Nick is the one that has done the work to get better. He's emotionally better, more mature, and went to therapy and fixed all of the, not fixed, but kind of got better at it. But Nadia and Milo just keep holding on to that trauma and that defense mechanism, and they haven't really been able to let go of that yet at the beginning of this book. Then after the Milo, because we open up the book with Milo. After the Milo chapters, which are Milo going to this small town because of Nick, his brother, we have the first Prue chapter. And the Prue chapter is when we get to the whole small town charm vibes, and that's where it starts. So I highlighted the paragraph that showed me that, oh, the vibes of this small town is going to be really great. Today is Sunday, which means a delivery of donuts from the bakery around the corner, owned by my father's best friend John. His shop, called John Doe, is a ministry of a one-stop sign pass-through tourist trap of a town. Well, technically it's not a one-stop sign town anymore. They put in a traffic light last month. The town has even held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate, not that I was in attendance. The light was installed in anticipation of yet another business that will inevitably close its doors in a year or even sooner once the owners decide the winters aren't worth it. So that's a very small town, Gilmore Girls vibe kind of town, which is a very important part of this vlog. So thankfully that checked out and it's fine. Then they met. Okay, so Milo got to town and her family have this gas station, so Milo stopped by to buy something. And the whole ordeal of what she was going through and stuff, I'm not going to talk about that. Read the book yourself if you want. What I want to say is they meet each other, and the moment he lays eyes on her, first of all, he starts lusting over her, which was so immediate. I was shocked. Plus, he speaks Russian, which is very hot. Yeah, he starts thinking dirty talks in his head, and he doesn't keep them inside. The moment they say hey to each other, he starts flirting with her, and I was like, I know you're a playboy, okay? I know that, but chill, okay? This girl doesn't know you. Maybe calm down. Maybe, tone down the flirting, but she didn't mind it, so who am I to say that it's wrong? But he flirted, like not even discreetly, he just out there flirted with her. There's again one scene that they're in the basement cleaning up for some reason. Again, not going to spoil it, they're just in the basement and she's working, she's trying to fix this thing and they're talking. Why do I talk with my hand this much? They're talking and again the flirting is non-stop and I was like, isn't she uncomfortable? Because if it was me and I was in the basement with a man that I don't know, and he looks like a very playboy, fun kind of boy, and he kept on and on and on flirting with me and pointing out the fact that he wants to basically hook up with me, I would be really uncomfortable. Okay, I highlighted something to show it to you. He says, do you have any more questions for me? His eyes dip down as he takes in a slow breath. Or can I kiss you now? They don't know each other. Oh, I pull back the few inches. I somehow floated towards him until the back of my head hits one of the shelves. We can't do that. We can't? His smile is a sleepy, effortless thing. That's a shame. I was starting to think you liked me. I find you attractive, sure, but that doesn't mean we should kiss. He chuckles, and the sound goes right to the tightening coil of my belly. Finally, she admits it. Please, I scoff, as if you need someone else feeding your ego. You don't know what I need, he says, his brows lowering a touch. Guys, chill. You don't know each other. We're 25% into this book. Dial it back. Too fast, okay? I get it, flirting is hot and this is a romance book, but come on, give me a build up. Why did you just go from, hey, how are you doing? Is the shop open? To can I kiss you? Is it just me? Am I the problem? Maybe I am. Anyways, I just wanted to update you before I got more into it, and I'm going to be back whenever I think I'm going to read a chunk of it and then come back because I don't like to interrupt myself while reading too much. See you when I have an update. Okay, update. This book just flies by. It's so easy to read. The writing is so fast and quick, and the characters are just so interesting that it's very easy for me to read, okay? So now I'm at, where am I? 50%, almost 50% in, more or less. He actually, I realized, has a very big heart, and again, reminds me of my ex, which I hate. I hate that part of this book, but he has a very big heart, and even though he always tries to distance himself, he actually loves his family and wants to help them. There's a moment that his sister calls him and tells him that their sister-in-law has gone into labor, and he just gets so worried about the fact that he wasn't there to help that he has a panic attack, and she has to calm him down. And I was like, that's so beautiful that you act like you don't care, but you care so deeply that you stutter and you have a panic attack. That's so nice. It's also very nice that he understands that she's going through a lot of hard things and it's okay for her to feel bad, even if she doesn't really have a valid type of reason for it. Again, I'm very much like Prue, so if I had somebody in my life, I wish they talked to me like this. Let me read it to you. You never asked me what was wrong, Prue says, slightly out of breath, cheeks still red from dancing as she stands over me, her hands on her hips. I thought asking would make it sound like you needed a reason, I tell her. Her eyebrows jump up. Don't I? I shake my head, my eyes locking with hers. I find myself wondering how many angles of her I'd be able to see without getting her into bed because I'm enjoying mentally collecting them so far. I don't think so, no. Life's hard enough as it is without having to justify it. I want a tattoo of that. Life is hard enough as it is without having to justify it. And it really is, and I should really take his advice and stop trying to justify it. I love that. And then, oh my god, we got into the sexy scenes. Okay, we got into the spicy scenes, and the thing that the description said that I wish I didn't know, the sex lessons started. Okay, I was having a very good time until that part of it. I have a lot of. Reading these spicy scenes was a roller coaster for me. Okay, let's start at the beginning. At the beginning, I really loved it because he's very experienced and she's a virgin. She tells him that she's a virgin and he never makes her feel bad about it, and she shouldn't. He makes it so that she knows that she's in control and this thing should be set up as her pace. Okay? So they get to the scene. Okay, they have this agreement of, oh, we're going to be friends and you're going to teach me things, which we all know they're not going to just teach each other anything, but a fun plot device, that's fine. They start the scene and kiss and get naked and all the things that you should do. The communication is very great. He sets up boundaries so well. He's like, okay, at any point, if you want me to stop, you tell me. If you say you want to do this thing and then realize you don't, you tell me. You use your words. You don't just nod or anything. You should use your words. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like if you don't like something. So that's really amazing that the communication is 100%. So I love that. I think that's a very important thing to write in romance books, that men shouldn't just, figure out consent and what she wants by the body language or sign language and whatever it is, and or their imagination or intuition. Okay, that's where the whole consent thing gets messy, and I hate that because I need consent 100% there, and Milo makes it clear that, hey, use your words, I need your words, which I love. Okay, I love that. It starts like that. They get naked. Of course, he has the most big, glorious thing, and she's like, oh my god, where's that thing going? The whole typical trope of when they're first having sex, and they start doing stuff. My problem started a little bit after that. So first of all, communication at the beginning is very well, but while they're doing things and starting to do things, they talk too much. Hold on. This is a pet peeve of mine, I know. That's not a valid critic. Of course it's not. They're speaking. What else? I hate too much talking in the middle of my spicy scenes, even if it's dirty talk. Okay, this amount of dirty talk is fine, but when it gets more, I'm like, okay, that's enough. But in this one, it's not even dirty talk. They just talk. I'm like, okay, guys, either talk to each other and let me listen, or do stuff and shut up. They talked too much. Okay, it was every single paragraph of okay, I kissed her, whatever, wherever, and he said something to her and she answered, and I was like, stop talking. Okay, just stop talking. Do whatever it is that you're doing. I'm there. Just stop talking to me. I know they were talking to me, but I don't like it. If you do, that's fine. Most people, I'm assuming, do, because it makes it less awkward than in silence. But at least in my books, it's fine. It's my pet peeve. Don't pay too much attention to that. That's fine. I'm not even saying the critic of that. What happened after a lot of amount of talking that I didn't like, what happened between these conversations, but that I want to do it. I want to say it respectfully. So she, the writer, put too much, almost, emphasis on the fact that she was a virgin. I'm not saying that you shouldn't write your books about virgins. Of course not. If you want to write a book about a woman's or a man's first experience, that's fine. If you want to point out to the fact that, okay, your first time is not perfect, that you don't know everything, and you may have to ask your partner, and you should be comfortable enough to ask your partner whatever questions that you have, that's also fine. But there's a line, okay? There is a line that was, she was walking it at the beginning, and then suddenly she crossed the line. It became too much, you know. And that's why I say I wish they weren't talking so much to each other, because I think if they hadn't speak this much, we wouldn't have this dialogue that made me think that. Okay, I'm going to read you something. Fuck Prue, you're so goddamn tight. I lift onto my elbows sitting up so I can have a better view. And is that a good thing? My girl, this is not the 1800s. You have read books, you have watched movies. At some point of this book, you watched Corn. You're asking if it's a good thing that he says you're tight? Okay, you're a virgin. You have never had sex, but really? Seriously, you needed to ask that? What kind of question is that? And what was he going to say? No, this is very bad. Come on. Okay. Hey! That put me off. That was the first thing that put me off. And the second thing was that they went from 0 to 100 way too fast. For the fact that they were putting so much emphasis on, okay, this is her first experience, they had a lot of experiences at the first go. They didn't have PNV kind of sex, but they did a lot of other things that I don't think a first time person would be comfortable with. I wouldn't be. Okay, that's my personal opinion. It may be very wrong. I might be so far off. Okay, maybe it's me and my experiences. I just think that when you're putting so much emphasis on this is her first time, and she wants her first time to be with somebody she's comfortable with and in a way that she's comfortable with, and he keeps saying that, okay, whatever you don't want to do, you tell me. Whenever you want to stop, we stop. They still take it too far for the first time. It's not a, problem with the book. I just wanted to tell you my thoughts on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I will update you later on when there's something else to say. Okay, guys. This book went from being a very fun book to being very sad and traumatic. They're talking about their past. He is talking about his past, actually. And the family life, the hard family life that he had. And oh god, it's reminded me so much of my ex. That's not on the book, that's me. I warned you that this was going to be very tough for me, and it is. So he talks with his brother and sister about the type of childhood that they had. They can't really openly speak about it because of how much it's hurting them still. The older one, Nick, wants to, because again, he's in therapy and has been working on it, but these two don't want that. And they are talking about it with each other, and the sadness and heaviness that he feels is really, really hurting me. okay, I'm not a very stable mentally kind of person. And usually, when I read books that remind me of especially my ex or something that's too close to home, I DNF the book so that it doesn't really affect me. But since we're here for the vlog, I'm going to keep going. But it's very hard, and I can't really talk, so let me read you the paragraph that just broke my heart. And it started the whole period of the book that was very dark. I went through all of that. That's why I look not very happy right now. He's again talking with his sister and brother. His sister says, "Why, if I'm out of that house and they're out of my life, can I not?" Probably the same reason I can stand still for very long, I say, interrupting. We're still protecting ourselves, I think. How we know best. How did Nick make it out so normal? She scoffs, drawing circles on the concrete floor with her fingers. Because I had the two of you to worry about, he answers, rounding the corner. And if I stopped doing that, I'd probably fall apart too. Um, After this hard conversation that goes on for a little while, then he just runs away because he can't really afford it emotionally to deal with that and face all of that. That night, he goes to her, and she can feel that something is very wrong with him, and he's so sad and devastated, but he doesn't want to talk about it. What he wants to do is bury it with sex, which again, a lot of flashbacks. And since I've been in that position, it makes you so frustrated and angry and hopeless that you see the person that you love in so much pain, and you want to help them, you want them to talk to you and open up, but they want to bury it with something like sex. And you don't know, if you deny them, then you're hurting them again also. But if you give it to them, you're still hurting them because you're helping them bury something that they should talk about. And reading that was extremely tough for me. I know that it won't be for a lot of people. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to put this burden on you watching it. I don't want you to make you feel bad. I'm sure you can read this book and enjoy it very much. The only reason that it's hurting me is because of my experiences, and I am sorry. Maybe I should censor them more. It's I read it right now, and it's so raw, so I wanted to share it, my raw emotions, with you. I'm sorry if I'm making the video a little bit sad. What is a positive point of him that my ex did not have is, finally, because she just keeps telling him, talk to me, just talk to me, he opens up. Not very much, as much as he can. He tries to tell her the gist of it, at least, of what has happened. And she listens, and what she does very right is that when he's like, I cannot talk about it anymore, that's how much I can, that's my boundary, she respects that, and he's like, okay, that's fine, I'm here, stay with me in this moment, let me read you that part. I don't think I can talk about this anymore, he says, his tone urgent. Hey, that's okay. I move to hug him, wrapping my arms around his shoulders. That's okay, I say again. The moment his face nestles against my neck, he begins to cry in earnest, letting out sad, weepy breaths against my skin as his shoulders tremble under my hands. Why is a romance book making me so sad? I was really not expecting this. I was expecting for it to be hard for me because I saw it from the very first pages that it was going to remind me of stuff, but not this much. I hope it gets happier and I get to see him happy and it makes me happier. I really do. I'll update you when I have happier things to say, because now I'm just sad and I need a break. I'm going to take a break for a few hours and update you later on. Okay, I'm done with this book. The rest of the book went way better. I'm not better, that part was good too, but the heaviness kinda got a little bit less and I powered through it. I was like, not going to think about it, not going to feel anything, just go, just go, just go. And we had a lot of spicy scenes, a lot of spicy scenes. And then we got to the end part. We had an argument, of course, with it. We had an argument, but at least it wasn't, too drawn out and too miscommunicationing. What is it? There was not too much miscommunication in it. They told each other they loved each other and they're going to live happily ever after. I don't have too much to say. First of all, I loved this book at the beginning, and when I was saying that they're moving too fast, I thought I was not going to love it very much because I don't like insta lust. But at the beginning, it was that, but then it got so much deeper. We got to see her backstory, his backstory, what he was dealing with, what she was dealing with, and they helped each other through that all throughout the book. And it was so nice that they supported each other and they understood each other and they were there for each other. And we didn't really see him completely get better and okay with that trauma, but we saw the fact that he started talking about it with his siblings and understanding that he still needs to heal and he should stop running away from it, which I think is the most important step. And I love that. I also love the fact that she didn't just end it as, okay, now he's healed and everything is okay, because traumas like this don't just go away. You kind of have to live with them all your life. You just get better at it. So I love that. I loved their relationship. It was so beautiful, so adorable. I loved it. And I love the fact that from the hints of it, there are going to be more books in this series. And I can't wait to read the book between Nadia and Alex, his sister and best friend. That was amazing. So I don't have much more to say. I said everything that I wanted to say. I love the communication that they had. I hope we have more books that have communication during and before sex and put so much focus on consent and having consent all throughout and a sexual act and not just at the beginning of it. I love the fact that it showed how hard it was to watch your loved ones go through Alzheimer's and how hard it was for your mental health and how you should, have grace on yourself and take every good moment that you can with them. And it was a very lovely book. It was not a rom-com as the two other ones were. It had some heavy stuff in it. And I really respect Hannah Bonam-Young's for that, because from the other book that I read from her, I can realize that she does that all the time. Write some very important things in her romance books. I'm going to give this book 5 stars. Love this book. I want to reread it. Already, I want to read it. This is my favorite book of this vlog, even though I had more fun reading If It Makes You Happy. Was that what it was called? But this one was way more deeper for me and I felt more emotionally connected to it. So 5 stars. What was that? The spice level is 3.5. Yeah, I'm going to give the spice level 3.5. I wanted to say 4, but I think 3.5 is better. That's the spice level. The Gilmore Girls vibes is 4. the small towns vibe was there, but not just, it wasn't really expanded on and it wasn't focused on. So you had in the background that they're in a very tiny town, that people help each other and everybody knows everybody, but it wasn't really exploited because we were, well, focusing on their traumas basically. So that's a 4. And the Luke and Lorelai vibes. That's a hard one. Luke and Lorelai vibes. 3. I want to give it a 3 because, well, first of all, he helped her with her family issues, which is something that Luke did a lot with Lorelai. She understood his trauma and pain without him having to explain it too much, which is something that Lorelai did with Luke. They look like them. And yeah, I think it wasn't an exact comparison, but it has the same vibes. So I'm going to give it a 3. And with that, we come to the conclusion of this vlog. I enjoyed this vlog very, very much. It was a very good experience to have a positive vlog that I wasn't just complaining all the way through and enjoying it. I loved having the time to read some cute romance books that I don't usually do. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you're here, if you watched until now, wow, thank you. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want me to do a type of vlog that you like. Let me know. If you have anything else you want to comment, I will be so glad to read all of your comments. And see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.